Good morning, Labradoodle puppy fans. We have a litter update video for you today for the petite to mini-sized Australian Labradoodle puppies from our triple play litter. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these Labradoodle puppies are 2 weeks old. So in today's video, we're going to discover whether that really exciting milestone of eyes opening up has happened or not. We're going to give you a little bit of an update, of course, on Mama Jojo, and we'll update each of the puppies with their weights. And today we're going to talk about why puppies are born with their eyes sealed shut. And we're also going to talk a little bit about choosing the important partners in your puppy's life. So let's get started with what about this week's milestone. So normally at around 2 weeks, the puppies begin to open their eyes. Now, eyes may open anywhere from day 10 at the earliest through to all the way to day 21. Now, what does this mean for your puppy? What if your puppy is the one who opened their eyes first? Or what if your puppy is the one who opened their eyes quite a bit later than the other puppies? It doesn't mean anything in terms of whether your puppy is more intelligent, more advanced, or anything like that. All it means is your puppy simply wasn't ready for their eyes to open. So you all know that puppies are born with their eyes sealed shut, but many people don't realize that as well. Their ears are sealed shut. And if you just take a look here at Orange Collar, he's got a really nice colored ear, so it's easy to see. You can see there's no opening yet in that ear. It is closed up tight. So why does this happen? What is the purpose of this? Well, it's actually a protective mechanism. Nature, in their wisdom, realized that when puppies were first born, if they were able to see and hear everything around them, that much external stimuli would just be too much. It would overwhelm them. So you know how if you've had a baby, or if you have a grandbaby, when your baby goes to sleep, everybody tiptoes around. It's very important we don't wake up the baby. So it's critical that these puppies have lots of sleep time. So with their eyes and ears sealed shut, there's nothing to distract them from that. I can come and walk in and make all sorts of noise and be all around them, waving my hand, and nothing deters them from their job at this point, which is to do what they're doing right now, nursing really well at the milk bar. And when they're not doing that, sleeping. They don't even know how to go to the bathroom on their own yet. You saw Jojo there just checking Orange Collar to make sure that everything was well. So Jojo still, as she's doing right now, stimulates the puppies to go. She also consumes everything that they excrete. That's partly to protect the puppies from possible predators. We don't have any of those here at Van Isle Doodles, but were the puppies outdoors, there would be. And it's also, again, because the puppies just don't have that well-developed nervous system. So not being able to see and hear also means that their movement within the whelping nest is very limited. And that is also intentional, because you don't want a puppy who wanders off and gets lost. And then if we weren't here and if it was just happening out naturally outdoors, that puppy would perish. Because let's say Pink Collar found herself over here and she was crying and crying and crying. She wouldn't be able at this point all the time to find her way back to the milk bar. And Jojo would not necessarily get up and take her, because in Jojo's mind, the important thing is to look after the majority of the puppies. And so if one went astray, it would be, nothing much would happen. So not being able to see or hear, there's no distractions, there's nothing that takes the puppies away from the very immediate vicinity of the milk bar and one another. Now, of course, being near one another and being near Jojo also does another job, and that is it keeps them warm. because puppies also cannot control their body temperature yet. They're starting to develop that ability a bit more, and this week we probably will turn the temperature down 1 more degree. We'll wait and see if they look comfortable with that or not. Now, how do we know if they're comfortable with the temperature? If they're all huddled up in a big pile, as if they were playing football, then we know they're cool. If they're spread out and they're way away from each other and they're all upside down, then we know they're too hot. If they're close to one another, like this, cuddling up, but not heaped on top of each other, then we know we've got it just right. We want Jojo to be comfortable, and we also want the puppies to start to be able to work on developing that ability to maintain their own body temperature, because they're not always going to be in the whelping room here. So this maternal bonding that comes from the no distractions is key, because we need to have the puppies feeling really secure. You'll hear from me many times how important it is for you to build your bond with your puppy. You need your puppy to trust you and respect you and believe in you. And so by having no distractions and no ability to really go anywhere or do anything else except for to be cared by mom, that helps to develop a strong bond with Jojo. And that is step 1 in developing a puppy that is well adjusted. They have that sense of security from the moment they're born, and that just keeps carrying on unless something happens to destroy that. So that's what we have as our job for the first 8 weeks, is to have everything to create a puppy who has only known a good, strong bond, who believes in the people around them, who believe in the world around them, that everything is safe and secure for them. So we have set our whelping room up intentionally to make this process even more as it would be in nature. So first of all, we have solid walls all the ways around the whelping box here. And the reason for that is to keep Mama Jojo calm. She can still hear and feel that she's part of our home life, so she doesn't feel she's excluded, but everything is muffled. Everything is toned right down. She can still hear all of us, but between the surroundings around the whelping box and the doors that we keep closed, they are glass, out to the rest of our house, everything is very muted. So it's not upsetting her. She's not jumping up and being all upset on a regular basis. Yes, if something happens at the door, if somebody rings the doorbell and our dogs all bark, yes, Jojo gets up and barks. And that's totally fine, because were she outdoors having her puppies, she wouldn't just ignore anything that was happening. She'd be very much attuned to any possible predators or any other dangers. So she would be getting up and barking in response to that. The puppies, of course, have no idea that she's barking, but they are able to sense the tension in their mom's body. So we want mom to be calm, relaxed, and happy. So we don't want to have her shut away somewhere far, far away. So if you have a breeder who has a kennel type situation, they often will have an external building for their dogs. We don't want to do that. I can't imagine being a mom, being with your puppies all the time and not having the knowledge that your family was right there 24/7. We also, at the same time, it's just as important, we do not have her in the middle of our house. We don't have her in the living room, the kitchen, the family room, because you can imagine how worried she would be. All these noises of a family activity, other dogs around, it would be very stressful for her, which in turn would go right through her body, into her milk and into the puppies. And you'd end up with an adult dog who was just a little bit more, I'm worried about things. We also, other than when we're filming the videos, do not have lights on in here. We do not turn the overhead light on. We have a very soft, low wattage bulb that we turn on when it gets dark. We have 2 windows. The blinds come up during the day to allow the natural daylight to come in. This room faces northeast, so there's not a lot of brightness that comes in here. It's a really nice, cooler area in terms of the summer when we have puppies in the summer, easy to keep warm in the winter, and not a lot of extremes in terms of daylight and sunshine streaming in. So that was very intentional when we set up Van Isle Doodles, when we chose this home, to figure out how everything would work and how we could get it to best work with the puppies. It took us 2.5 years to find the right house that would work for the puppies, and we're really glad we took that time. So this all continues throughout the entire 8 weeks your puppies are with us. Everything is done to be very gradual and natural. So with the puppies, when they open their eyes, it's a gradual unveiling of their senses. We start with the eyes. The eyes start with a little slit. The slit gets a bit bigger. The eyes open, and then they open wide. And when the puppy's eyes first open, they don't see very well. They can distinguish big blobs and different shapes of blobs. So it doesn't take them long before they're able to distinguish that this blob means the milk bar, this blob means the human. And then over time, of course, that vision becomes more keen and they are able to see much better. And by the time we move them into the doodle den, their vision has improved greatly. Now, what about their ears? Their ears will open up after their eyes. So again, nature has done their best to protect the dogs and keep the puppies from not being too overloaded by not opening their eyes and ears at the same time. And again, when their ears open, as I was showing you before in a closed ear, as you can see here on Silver Collar, they only open gradually. So first we'll notice that when we come in, if there's quite a loud sound or a high-pitched sound, we might see a puppy make a slight bit of a movement in acknowledgement of that. And then it takes a while before the ear is completely open, and then every time you come in, they're like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? Right, sweetheart? Yeah, that's a good girl. Same as they usually will respond quite a bit to mom barking. And oh my goodness, you got one of the puppies back here. Is Red Collar is complaining that he's back there and not having access to the milk bar. There we go. So again, you could hear Red Collar there. He was complaining. He was back here. He wasn't being squished. The pig rail was protecting him, but he wasn't able to get to the milk bar. And Jojo was not paying him any mind whatsoever because she knew that everybody else was quite happy here. So that is how everything goes in terms of the eyes and the ears. And it's also, you're going to find, you'll hear from me, that everything we do, how we raise your puppy at Van Isle Doodles, is all built on how things would happen naturally and working with your puppy's natural instincts. All of this we found in the 42 years we've been breeding dogs, that this is what helps to create the most calm and well-adjusted puppy to send home with you. Because after all, that's what you're looking for. So now let's talk a little bit about the important partnerships in your puppy's life. You're going to have one of these puppies joining you in March, which seems like a long ways away, but you'll be surprised just how quickly that time passes. And the 3 important partnerships you're going to have in your life are going to be, look at little Pink Collar here, she's showing you her big white tummy. Your important partnerships are going to be your vet, your trainer, and your groomer. Now, vets are in short supply, so they can be a little bit tricky to locate right now. If you don't already have a vet, I would suggest you start looking right now to find a vet in your area. If you're one of the lucky people on this list, be sure to post in our community page, the private page, and ask for recommendations. Tell people where you live and see what people recommend. And also, just as important, who they don't recommend. Sometimes that can be more important than who they do. And be prepared that perhaps your first choice is not going to be available. Ideally, what you want is a vet who knows what an Australian Labradoodle is, understands the difference between them and a Labradoodle, doesn't mistake your dog for a golden doodle, or doesn't refer to them as an Australian doodle or an Aussie doodle, or doesn't just call them, oh, a doodle. Ideally, that's what you're going to look for. The other thing that's key is to start looking around in your general area and find where the after hours emergency vet care is. You may have an urgent care walk-in, or you may have a full-fledged emergency hospital, but you want to be aware of what your options are should an emergency occur. And don't forget when you're traveling with your dog to do that as well. So if you stop and spend the night somewhere, while you're getting there, just take a moment on your phone, check for the nearest emergency hospital for your dog, just in case something happens while you are traveling. The next thing is your trainer. It's very important with your trainer to do some research. Anybody can say they're a trainer. There's no regulations for it. I could easily say, oh yeah, I'm a dog trainer. I'm not a dog trainer. I can tell you all sorts of things about dog behavior. I can understand what dogs are thinking, at least what I think they're thinking. I can give you information on how to work with their natural selves, but I am not a trainer in terms of this is how you teach your dog to come, sit, stay. For that, you want somebody, again, this is very important, that they know what an Australian Labradoodle is. What works for an Australian Labradoodle doesn't work for a Golden Doodle, and again, doesn't work for a Doberman Pinscher. 3 entirely different breeds of dogs, 3 entirely different approaches that are needed. So make sure they're familiar. With the trainer, find out where their puppy classes are being held and go and watch 1 or 2. Are you comfortable? Is it clean? Is it run well? Are the puppies in the group happy? Are the humans happy? Is it a good environment? Is there somewhere outside that's safe to take your dog to go to the bathroom before they've had all their shots? All these types of things. And are the classes at a time and location that are convenient for you? If you live on Vancouver Island, you're super lucky. We have 2 amazing options. One is Taylor, who works with us and has a company called Positive Results. She goes up and down the island offering classes and individual training. And of course, she's known your Van Isle Labradoodle puppies since they were born. The other one we recommend everyone to check out if you're on the island and sign up for their puppy class is Communicanine. I'll put that link in the description of the videos for all of you. They're outstanding. They're very familiar, not just with Australian Labradoodles, but with Van Isle Labradoodles. Many of our dogs are graduates from Communicanine. And the last thing is the groomer. Groomers are also in very short supply. The good ones are booked up long in advance. This is when you start to want to build a relationship with a groomer and get an appointment. You'll want to take your puppy in about 6 weeks after you take them home just to have their eyes and their bum cleaned. Because Australian Labradoodles are fluffy, part of the reason we all love them, they get lots of hair on their bum and it's really easy for the poop to get stuck there. Blech. Nobody likes that. Plus, sometimes it can get stuck to the point where the poor dog can't go to the bathroom anymore. So you want to have what's called a sanitrim, and that's just to keep that bum area tidied up. And then, of course, with those fluffy faces, the hair right here at the side of the nose often grows up into the eyes, and then that obscures their vision. Now, you'll see some Australian Labradoodle breeders have their dogs with their hair like this. And yeah, it looks kind of cute, but they can't see. And when they can't see, it's really scary. So it's really important with your puppy to keep their vision clear. So you can see how Jojo's face is cut. She's got lots of hair on her face. She's got lots of hair around her nose, on her head, but there's nothing that's impeding her vision. She can see without any trouble because her hair is groomed. Sorry, honey. Am I joking you? Because her hair is groomed out here and it's clipped up shorter here into what we call an inverted V. So those are all important considerations. And I can tell you, when people phone crying, it's usually because somebody's poodled their doodle. Now, one thing, you can clip your puppy however you want, of course. You will get a guide for the correct Australian Labradoodle clip in your documents that will go home with your puppy with you. One of the keys is how to clip their ears. You'll see lots of pictures on our private page where people have their ALD's ears down like a Cocker Spaniel. If that's the look you like, totally fine. It's your dog. It's not the correct clip according to the breed standard. It's not how I like it, but if you like it, it's your dog. You do whatever you like. Now, so the main key here for these 3 important partnerships is that you find people who understand what an Australian Labradoodle is compared to the other types out there. Even Trupanion, who you will get free insurance from for the first 30 days, the rates for an Australian Labradoodle are different from a Labradoodle, an Aussie Doodle, and a Golden Doodle. The rate for the Australian Labradoodle is lower because they are bred better, they're healthier when they're from a professional breeder. So now let's do the fun part. Let's do our puppy updates for weight, and let's see who has their eyes open. I hope you all have a guess as to who was first opening their eyes. And we'll start with the firstborn here, who's showing us her pretty pink feet. This is little Pink Color, who was showing us her big white tummy a little while ago. Now she says, I don't want to come out. What are you talking about? I'm full. I want to have a nap. Come here, sweetie girl. Oh my goodness me. Sorry, Jojo. There we go. There she is. This is our caramel tuxedo girl with the big square head, and you can see her eyes are wide open. Miss Pink opened her eyes first. She was born first, and her eyes opened first. Her eyes opened on day 10, right at the beginning. And I can tell you that I can already see a very small amount of her ear opening, so I won't be surprised if she's the first one to open her ears too. You can see already she recognizes that, oh yeah, there's somebody over there. She's struggling to get me into focus. Now you'll see her eyes are blue. All puppies are born with blue eyes. They will not stay blue. Blue eyes in an Australian Labradoodle is a fault. They're very pretty, but they're generally related to albinism and not something that we want to see. Green eyes sometimes show up, and those are beautiful too. They're very unusual, but they do occur from time to time. Bye, Jojo. So this little girl's eyes will end up being the same color as Jojo's. They'll be a nice light hazel. And this little princess is now 813 grams. Thank you, Pink. Next we have Blue Collar Boy. Hey, Blue. Blue is this beautiful, beautiful dilute chocolate phantom boy. He's got his mouth hanging open there because he must be dreaming that he's still at the milk bar. Come here, handsome boy. Oopsie. And Mr. Blue does not have his eyes open. Oh, wait a minute, I lied. Nope, there's slits there. Nope, that was just the light playing a trick on me. I thought for a minute I saw something there. But no, he's got a little tiny maybe slit on the right. But no, he's not interested in opening his eyes yet. I expect he'll probably have them open by Thursday. At the latest, he may even have them open tomorrow. I can tell by the movement of what's going on there that he's getting ready. But there's not much in the way of slits there yet. This is our biggest puppy in the litter, and he's the first one to cross the 1 kilogram mark. He is 1.03 kilograms today. You can tell because he has quite a generous tummy going on there, right? That's my good boy. Next we have Orange Collar Boy. Now Orange is our flashy black tri-puppy here, and he's called a tri because he's a phantom. That's what these tan points are here, and then he's got all these white markings. He's actually a tuxedo as well, and so he's got 3 colors, so we refer to him as a tri. And you can see he has an ample tummy too. Now Mr. Orange Collar is 826 grams. And his eyes are open. And we'll see if he's going to share and show you. There they are. There's a good boy. Now, because he is a black dog, his eyes are going to be a very, very dark brown, almost a black color. Well, he's apparently thinking that there should be some milk bar there. And just look how cute it is now that his nose is starting to fill in. It's just the most sweet thing. That's a very, very sweet. So that's our Mr. Orange Collar Boy. Then we go to Red Collar. Red Collar is red, so it was appropriate to give him the red collar. And Mr. Red Collar is now 802 grams. And look, his eyes are wide open, and he is a true red. He has a black nose, he has black feet, and that is the requirement to be actually called a red dog in Australian Labradoodle world. He's a cutie pie. He's got a little bit of white on his nose there too. Hi. Hi. So every time that and you can see his eyes are not quite as fully open as Pink's because his have only been open since yesterday. Hello, Billy, I love you. Next we have Green. Green is our smallest puppy in the litter, and Green is going to be exactly the same as Jojo in terms of color. Green is also a phantom, a chocolate phantom. There he is. You can see his chits up here, his markings here, and he too has tons and tons of white there. Such a pretty boy. Yes, he's very, very handsome. And Mr. Green is all the ways up to 628 grams. And are you going to show us if you have any eyes? No eyes quite yet. He and Mr. Blue are pretty much at the exact same point with their eye development. So I expect maybe tomorrow. By the end of the week, though, for sure we'll see. And you can see his nose is starting to fill in, and you can see it's quite different. He's going to have a brown nose, or what we call a rose nose. Yes, it's a very pretty boy. I just love his coloring. It's so unique. And then we have Yellow Collar. This is Yellow Collar here. Now, Yellow Collar is the other girl in the litter, and she is a chocolate phantom. You can see her phantom markings there. And she's the only puppy that does, oh no, she's not, this one too. She does not have a whole lot of white on her. She's much more of a darker chocolate phantom girl. And Miss Yellow is 860 grams. And she will happily show you her eyes, I think. And we'll just give her a little side of the face rub. That usually gets them to get awake. Oh, there you go. Oh, I'm not going to show them too much, just a little bit. She does have her eyes open. She opened her eyes yesterday. Everybody whose eyes are opened yesterday except for Pink, who opened hers on day 10. Hello, baby. Hello. Yeah, it's me. It's me. So she's probably seeing the least out of everybody right now, because you can see hers are just coming to the point where they are fully wide open eyes. And last but not least, we have handsome Silver Collar boy here. He's really a clone of Yellow Collar. There's not any white on him. He is a phantom. She had a teeny little bit of white. He has none at all, which means he may not be, if he was a breeding dog, he may not produce dogs with white on them if he's bred with another dog who isn't white, carrying white. Hi. I just don't want to startle him when he's so comfy there. There we go, handsome boy. There we go. And there we can see that he is not got his eyes open either. And so he too is just going to say, no, I think I'll wait for a little bit. Thank you very much. And right now all I want to do is sleep. Oh, it's just exhausting. But you see, oh, I saw a little tiny glimpse. There we go. They were not open when we just before we started the video, but I just saw a little glimpse on this eye here. So this puppy will have his eyes open by the end of today. Yay! That's a way to go, Silver Collar. And that's all your puppies. That's everybody. You can see all those coats just gleaming away. They are the shiniest puppies. They all have beautiful, what will be straight to wavy fleece coats. This puppy here, Blue Collar, will have a little bit of wave. You can see it coming there. A little bit here in silver, a little bit here in green. Whereas these 4 puppies here, you can see there's no wave showing at this point in time. And for Mama Jojo, she's doing splendidly, eating so much. She is eating right now 4 pounds of raw food a day, whereas normally she would only be eating around 8 ounces. And once she's spayed, that would go down to about 6 ounces. So it's a huge increase in her diet. That's her frozen raw that she's eating. And then on top of that, she has freeze-dried overnight. So she is eating a tremendous amount more than normal. She's at a perfect weight. she's just doing great. She's got lots of good energy. She's happy. Her guardians came to visit her on the weekend, and that made her smile for many, many hours afterwards. She loves seeing her family and showing off her beautiful babies. And if you didn't already know, we have a spot open in this litter because Jojo surprised us with having 7 puppies. So if you're interested, please go to the website, vaniledoodles.com, and look for the application form there. Or you can email me at claire@vaniledoodles.com, or just drop me a comment here. It looks like we also probably have a couple of good candidates here, possibly for breeding boys if somebody is interested who is a breeder. A little bit too early to tell, but they're looking really good. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do have time and can pop some comments in to the video for us, we would so appreciate that. It really helps us with rating on YouTube, which is what we're always wanting to do so we can share what we have with other people. And if you don't have time for that, just give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that as well. Thanks so much for watching, and next week we may be able to hear. We may even have moved from this location into the Doodle Den. So we'll have to wait and see, and I hope you'll join us.